Hi, this is Brian again at River City Outdoors 85. I am making my second video for today, my second video ever that I'm going to be posting on social media here in a bit after I drop the first video that I made earlier. I wanted to go ahead and make this second video because I have some content that I wanted to share with you guys. Today, I had something come in via FedEx, something that a lot of you might be interested in. As I said in my first video, if you watched it, a lot of my social media content that I post is going to be based around fishing, probably near half of it, as I said before. So what I've got for you today is fishing based, of course. So let me turn my camera around here so we can give you guys a look at what I've got for you today. On Monday, I ordered 2 new Hellcat Revenge rods from Catch the Fever, and they just arrived today. So 2 days later, ordered them on Monday and they arrived here at my home on Wednesday. Now, as you can see down the length of the rod, these are really awesome catfish rods. This is their newest rod. They just dropped these not very long ago, and I bought 2 of them. As you can see, they come with a really nice rod sock that is really, really cool. The end here looks to be about the same kind of material as what's on the new style rod handles that they are doing, which is, according to their advertising, like a silicone rubber mixture. It is very tight fitting and very durable feeling material. It's got excellent grip, as you can see. The grip design that they did is supposed to, mimic like mapping on your GPS on your fish finders and stuff. It does have the slots in the handle in there. And of course the green trim starts at the end of the handle, and it goes through various places here. Obviously, all metal reel seat that's kind of got the smoked color to it with the Hellcat logo on it. They have the Catch the Fever logo cut out on both sides where you can see the rod blank where it travels all the way through the reel seat and to the end of the handle. Have double locking nuts on the all metal reel seats, and then this really cool piece of matching metal trim where the forward part of the grip starts, and up on top of the forward grip as well. I bought 2 of these. As you can see, one of them is a medium heavy power, and they're both fast action, and the other is a heavy power. Still, I unpackaged them, took the plastic and the bubble wrap off of them and stuff like that. I still haven't cut the tags off of them. Green's my favorite color, so I bought them in green. I have currently in my catfish rod collection, I have 4 of the original green Hellcat rods. 2 of them are medium heavy. Excuse me, and 2 of them are heavy. I use the medium heavy rods for most of my general purpose catfishing, and I use the heavy rods because, as you can see, again, they have a quite a bit heavier rating on the lure rating, which is, of course, what dictates how heavy you can go on your sinkers. Living here in Jefferson City, I fished the Missouri River. And anybody who's got any experience with that river knows that the current is pretty ferocious in that river in most places. So it generally requires anywhere from 8 to 20 ounce sinkers to hold the bottom. Usually you can get by with 12 to 16 ounce sinkers most any place though. But you definitely have to have 8 ounce or heavier sinkers to hold the bottom in the Missouri River, pretty much anywhere. And then of course, our whole eastern border in the state of Missouri is the Mississippi River. And while the current is not quite as bad on the Mississippi as it is on the Missouri, you still have pretty heavy current. So heavy power rods are still definitely a benefit there as well. I'll kind of zoom out, give you a view of the whole rods here. Really, really awesome. I just got them. I just recently, within the last few minutes, unpackaged them and set them out here on the table so everybody can have a look at them. Very excited to add these to my collection and get them fixed up with some reels and get fishing with them. As I might have said that earlier. My other Hellcats are I have 2 that are medium heavy and 2 that are heavy. So I plan on integrating these in with the rest of my Hellcat rods. I also have 3 other rods that I purchased from Catch the Fever. They're the original Big Cat Fever rods. They're also medium heavy, and they have a 1 to 10 ounce sinker rating on them as well. The only rods I have in heavy are the Hellcats. These are, as you can see, or you might have noticed, these are spinning rods. So you have the really large first eye, like every spinning rod does. One of the key differences here with these rods that I see right off the bat is the eye count on these rods. The other, especially, well, no, the other Hellcats I have are also that way. The Hellcats and the Big Cat Fevers that I have, they're all spinning rods. They have 8 eyes, and on the new Hellcat Revenge rod, they have added an additional eye. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with the tip included. Whereas on the Big Cat Fever and the Hellcat spinning rods, they have 8 eyes with the tip included. I know that they spent a long time developing these rods. And you can look at their social media pages on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and elsewhere. And Caleb Page, the owner of Catch the Fever, not Big Cat Fever, sorry. Caleb Page, the owner of Catch the Fever. He's a really great guy, by the way. Shout out to him and his entire team, because they make, as far as I'm concerned, they make the most awesome catfish rods on the market. But Caleb Page, he has a video that they released when they dropped these rods on the market, and he goes through the whole spiel of, how long it took them to develop these rods and what their development goals were and everything else. And Caleb he's a really cool guy. I'll give you a little backstory on that in just a minute. Anyway, I'm going to come back to you here so we don't have to have you guys looking at those rods the whole entire video. So Caleb Page, like I said, he has a video where he talks about all the development that went into these rods. I'm 40 years old, so I'm old enough to remember a time when we didn't have dedicated catfish rods. We had dedicated bass fishing rods, and in the northern states, there were dedicated rods for walleye and muskie and things like that available. And out west, I'm sure there's been dedicated rods for trout and salmon and things like that. available for quite some time. But you know, catfishing has always been a sport that originally anglers only engaged in places like the Midwest and through the South. Um, so catfishing didn't catch on as a competitive type sport or any of that stuff for a long time. And within my lifetime, the whole game has changed when it comes to catfishing. We now have catfish tournaments all over the country with big payouts and everything else, just like bass tournaments and crappie tournaments and walleye tournaments and all those things that have existed long before catfish tournaments. So, I remember when the first truly dedicated catfish rods started coming out onto the market. One of the companies that I remember in particular was is a company that's still around called Tangling with Catfish. Um, they developed and marketed some of the first like truly dedicated catfish rods. And then but they were, they were a higher end rod, so they cost more money, and you didn't find them in stores, big box stores, or major sporting goods stores like Bass Pro or any place like that. Um, and then so you had to order them online. Well, some people just weren't going to pay to buy a fishing rod and pay the money to have it shipped and all that stuff. So they just used what they could get at the stores they had available to them, like at Walmart or Bass Pro or someplace like that. And in many cases, back in the day, I saw people, catfishing with long, surf rods, wherever they could get that would work. And now, we have more and more companies coming out with dedicated catfishing rods as catfishing has become a considerably more popular sport over the years of my life, and catfish competitions are now a thing. The market obviously has a demand for dedicated catfish rods now, so we have those. So I can't remember. I'm not going to say because I don't have the information right in front of me. So I don't want you to I don't want to say anything that's wrong, but I'm not sure when Catch the Fever first came out as a company, but I know their first catfish rods were the big Cat Fever rods. And I know when they came out with those rods, that was pretty much revolutionary because any catfish rods before that, and there weren't very many, were different materials and not quite as durable and all that stuff. Uh, the first dedicated catfish rods that I owned, you could buy at Walmart or at Bass Pro Shop, and there's nothing wrong with those rods. They're the Shakespeare Ugly Stick catfish rods. Um, you don't have a lot of options with those rods. They are good durable rods. They come in a 1 piece or 2 piece configuration, and you can get them in 7 foot length or 8 foot length. And they're good rods. But nowadays they're not as good an option as they used to be. The first ones that I bought back when I got into what I consider serious hardcore catfishing, uh, where you could buy them for anywhere from $25 to $30 at Walmart or Bass Pro or someplace like that. Um, and they're still a good rod, but the price on them has gone up. Right now, last I looked, like on Amazon or Midway USA, which is a retailer that we have here in Missouri and Columbia, and I do buy things from Midway. They're really great retailer then, and they sell a wide variety of stuff for hunting and fishing and stuff like that. And they also sell Catch the Fever products. They sell their catfish rods and crappie rods both. And I have bought some of my Catch the Fever rods from Midway, and but in the beginning, they Catch the Fever didn't. Their products weren't as widespread as they are right now. So you had to order them from their website, or if you were lucky enough, to live somewhere that was more local to them, which they're in North Carolina. Then they had some stores there that were carrying their rods as well. So the first Big Cat Fever rods that I purchased, I had to do so online. And the way shipping on fishing rods works, they send them in a long cardboard tube. So, you know, I think they can put probably 6 rods in one of those tubes. So you're going to pay pretty much the same amount of shipping if you buy one rod or if you buy 4 to 6 of them. The shipping is going to be the same because it's fitting in the same exact container. So, obviously, not paying for the shipping and buying them someplace local is more beneficial to everyone financially. But so I've done that, with Midway when stuff's available. But Midway doesn't have these Hellcat Revenge rods available yet, so I did purchase these directly from the website. The company, however, does do a veterans discount, and they did give me a veterans discount on my order. They've given me a veterans discount on every order that I've purchased from them, and their customer service is great. Go back to what I was saying earlier about Caleb Page, the owner of Catch the Fever. I wanted to, back in like 2018, I decided that, I wanted to get more hardcore with my catfishing. It's always something that I loved, and I've caught some. Up to that point, I had caught some really dang good fish, some good blue cats, good flatheads, and some good channel cats, and I love to catfish. But I decided that I wanted to, revamp or overhaul, if you will, my catfishing equipment. And of course, one of the things that I wanted to change was my catfish rods. So I did a lot of research on what was available out there at the time, and I had a couple of friends of mine that owned some Catch the Fever, Big Cat Fever rods already, and I had seen some reviews on them on YouTube and things like that. And so I decided to buy one and try it out. And I wanted it in a spinning rod because I prefer spinning rods over bait casters for various reasons. Sometime I'll do a video, breaking down the differences with different catfish reels and why I prefer what I prefer. Everybody's got their own opinion, of course, and that's fine. But spinning rods and spinning reels is what I prefer. So when I went to buy my first Big Cat Fever rod from Catch the Fever, I called them up to. I had picked a reel out already. The reel I picked out at the time was a Penn Battle 2, and it's a heavy duty all metal saltwater spinning reel, and I wanted to make sure that the reel that I had picked out was going to fit in the reel seats on the Big Cat Fever rods. So I called them to talk to them about that and make sure that that was going to work, because I had the dimensions for the reel seats and everything. And the lady at the customer support, she wasn't able to answer my question, but so she transferred me to Caleb Page himself, who was the owner of the company. And he and I had a rather lengthy conversation about it, and I explained to him what I wanted to know, and he he was more than willing to talk to me about it and give me all the information that I needed. We had a good conversation, and his team has been great to deal with on every one of my purchases, and I love seeing their social media pages and the content that they put out. There's a lot of people out there using rods from this company, and they are catching some big trophy class catfish with them. These rods, the ones I've used so far, I've used the heck out of my Big Cat Fevers, and I've used the heck out of my original Hellcat rods, and I've caught some really good fish with them. And these rods are a big time step up from the ugly stick catfish rods that I had before. Well, they're a longer rod for one thing, because the rods I had before were 7 foot, so these are a half foot longer at 7'6", and they're better material. Now, it's not that ugly stick rods are bad rods, because they're not. But ugly stick rods they're listed as a fiberglass graphite composite, and they have little tags on them that kind of show you how they're constructed and all that stuff. But as far as what fiberglass is in them, or what grade of graphite's in them, or whatever, they don't list any of that information. And they also only use graphite reel seats, whereas all of the Catch the Fever catfish rods use all metal reel seats, which are considerably more durable. And they have double locking nuts, whereas the ugly stick catfish rods only have a single locking nut. That does tend to come loose at times. Seemed like to me I was tightening those things down about every 2 or 3 fishing trips. Especially if you do a lot of casting. And if you're like me, I check baits and freshen baits back up about every 30 minutes. So you're doing quite a bit of casting, especially if you're fishing like I do 5 to 8 hours at a time. So and sometimes all night long. Overall, like I say, the ugly stick catfish rods are not a bad quality rod. They're well made, but they're not near the quality of any of the rods that Catch the Fever makes for catfishing. And there are a lot of other good options out there now at various price points, and that's something that I intend to make a video kind of breaking down for everybody. But when I do that, I'm gonna get that information, directly from their websites with their prices listed, so that I can show you literally on paper what their prices are and what you're getting for that price. But I will say, with the price having been raised to where it is on the ugly stick catfish rods in particularly, right now they're $59.99 pretty much anywhere. At $25 to $35, that's a really good rod. But now that we're up to $60 for an ugly stick catfish rod, guys, I know that's still like the Big Cat Fever rods that they make now, the Zach Royce edition. I think they're $95. I think, don't quote me wrong, but so there's a $35 price difference, and if you can't buy it at a store, you're going to have to pay shipping. So I understand a lot of people's concerns with pricing on the higher end catfish rods, especially if they have to pay shipping. But the reality of it is, you can get a lot more rod than an ugly stick catfish rod for $60. And I have some that I'll introduce you guys to on another video that are what I consider to be the best $60 catfish rods on the market, for what you get. But I'm going to make a bunch of different videos on this content, and I'll break a lot of that stuff down for you guys in future videos, because it's one of the things that does interest me. Like I said before, I love to fish. I love to just get out and do it. But I also have a really keen interest in the equipment, because the reality of it is, the two things that are getting it done are you and the equipment that you're using. And anybody can go to Walmart and buy a $20 or $30 fishing pole and go to some local lake someplace and catch small channel cats, and you can do it all day and all night long. There's no doubt about that. But if you're serious about catfishing and you want fishing rods that are durable and are going to last a long time, that you're not going to worry about breaking if you do in fact hook a larger than average fish, or you intend to target trophy size fish, then spending the extra money on better equipment is just, it's truthfully what you need to do. You got to do what you can afford to do. Everybody's got a price level on equipment that they can afford, whether that's for hunting or fishing or off-road vehicles or whatever it is. Everybody has a certain price line that they have set based on what they can afford. And so if you're not buying expensive high-end catfish rods, there's nothing wrong with that. You got to buy what you can afford to buy. But if you can save a little longer, you're wanting to buy a good catfish rod, save a little longer, and buy something a little better. It's to your advantage in the long run, because it will last longer and it will perform better for you. And that's why I'm big on the rods made by Catch the Fever, because they are made to last, and they're going to last you a long time if you do buy them. And the Big Cat Fever rods are still the most affordable of the three that they have currently. They have the Zach Royce Big Cat Fever rods, which are priced just under $100, and then they have and now the original Hellcats, they have come down on the price of those too, to where they're just under $100 as well. And the price on the Hellcat Revenge rods is just south of $150, I believe, is what I paid for them. I think they're $149.99 if I'm correct on that. I'll have to look to double check for you to give you more accurate prices. But it is definitely, these rods that I just showed you are definitely, the Hellcats are great and the Big Cat Fever rods are great, but these are definitely an upgrade over anything that Catch the Fever's done so far in terms of catfish rods. The handles, that handle material is awesome. I looked at a local tackle shop that does carry Catch the Fever products at one of their casting rods, and I fell in love with it. And that's why I bought these, because I wanted them in a spinning rod, and that store doesn't carry them in a spinning rod. So I had to order those directly from Catch the Fever. But with the military discount that they give and everything, that pretty much dissolved the shipping cost anyway. So that was great. So I will, as soon as I get some reels in for these rods, they're on their way also. I ordered them from Amazon. Then I will make another video and show you guys the reels I have picked out for these rods, and then we'll get them mounted up, and we'll get some fishing videos going soon, because I just recently came back this past weekend from a fishing camping trip with my boys, and we went down to Truman Lake, which is near Warsaw, Missouri. Warsaw, Missouri sits right on Truman Lake in the Osage River, below Truman Lake, and we were fishing below the Truman Dam, and we were catfishing and doing some crappie fishing also. We didn't do real good on crappie this time. I mean, we did definitely catch some, but we didn't do real good on keeping size crappie. However, we did come back with a pretty decent mess of channel cats and blue cats. Nothing good big, but good eating size fish. Most of what we had was between 1.5 pounds and 5.5 pounds. So, good mess of fish. Actually, we're gonna fry some fish for dinner tonight, and that'll be great. We're all about some fried catfish. And then, like I say, when my reels come in, I'll kind of do a post unpackaging video for those reels. So I'm not gonna tell you ahead of time what reels I picked out for those rods. And then I'll do more fishing gear related videos in the future, kind of showing you what else I've got and what I'm using and why, and then we'll go from there. So I look forward to making some more videos for you guys, and putting some more information out there for you. If you like this video and what you're seeing so far, give me a like and a subscribe. I'm Brian on River City Outdoors 85. Thank you.